Hi here. This is a reading for the sign of Capricorn. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with a Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get a sense of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious, and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the energy of the sign of Capricorn. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you identify with the sign of Capricorn today, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages don't fit, do not try to force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit your life or your situation, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can always stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Capricorns. So let us see what we get today. What things should we think about? Are there things that we should meditate upon? Things that we should reflect on? Are there things that we should be warned about? Are there things that we should look out for? Any warnings that we might need? Are there things that we should look forward to? Are there positive things that we can put our energy in or move towards to make our lives a little bit nicer? What messages do we need to receive today for those who are trying to tune in to the energy of the sign of Capricorn? So let us see what our Celtic cross has for us today. Okay, feels pretty good. So let us see what we get. In the present moment, we have art, temperance, the forge, alchemy. So we're taking opposing energies and we're combining them together into something that we can build that is going to push us forward in the creation of something. You know, maybe you're taking negative energy and you are turning it into something positive by processing it through your body. Maybe you're reflecting upon things that you have experienced, and you're taking things that are outside of yourself and putting them inside of yourself and trying to make sense of that that transition in order to change or transmute that into something different, right? So perhaps just as a mental activity, like I said, of reflecting upon something, or maybe you're trying to take some emotional energy. Maybe you're trying to put together some of your passions and your emotions, the things that get you charged up and the things that soothe you, and pulling them together to make something new out of it. Again, there's some level of duality here is coming together to forge something new. And that is why this is the art card in this version of the tarot deck. So let's see what is crossing this. 5 of Pentacles. So yeah, I think the initial thought that I had where this was you processing something in your physical experiences and the way that makes you feel and pulling those two together to get some kind of resolution. I think we're trying to transmute our negative experiences. Perhaps you're having some difficulties in your life, financial, or just, you know, your relationships with other people are perhaps a little shaky. And you're trying to take those experiences as well as your reflections upon them and find some place in the middle to determine how you're going to react and respond to this situation. So let's see what surrounds this. We have a 3 of Swords. We have a 3 of Pentacles. We have a 5 of Cups. The Moon. The Hierophant. The 4 of Discs. The Princess of Cups, and there is the 2 of Pentacles. So this is interesting. Yeah, I'm sensing difficulty and trying to grow out of difficult or perhaps just maybe chaotic or tumultuous times in your life, and trying to grow something positive out of that. So in terms of our major arcana, we have the art card, which is also the temperance card. We have at the top we have the moon. Here we have the Hierophant. So we have three major arcana, which are kind of interesting. This is sort of the speaker of the divine, and then over there in the moon card we have almost the sense of trying to wade through our dark sides of our minds and trying to tap into our intuition to navigate us rather than the things that we see. So there's somewhat of a duality here in terms of this is what you can perceive and have expressed. This is what you can't necessarily perceive, but you can perhaps feel and hear it. And then those two forces together perhaps are what we need to build our art from, right? The things that we're feeling versus the things that are perhaps our duties that are put in front of us, the responsibilities that we have to take care of in our lives. In terms of our other court cards, we've got, let's see, we've just got a Princess of Cups. So she is the bearer of the energy of water, which if this is a difficult time for you, then yes, having a little bit of positive, emotional, even creative cup energy presented to you is something that is definitely going to bring some positivity to this situation. In terms of our other suits here, it looks like in the suit of air, we have just the Three of Swords, which is definitely one of the harder of the sword. I mean, a lot of the sword cards are difficult to process, but this is one that we really feel a lot, right? So this is definitely giving me the vibe of something painful. In terms of our suit of Earth, it looks like we've got a 5 and a 4 and a 2. A 5, a 4, a 2, and a 3. So we've got a lot of Earth energy here. In terms of our cups, we have the 5 and the Princess, and really not any cards from the suit of Wands, so no fire. So, okay, interesting. So definitely a lack of passion, perhaps, in whatever you're dealing with. It looks like the only real fire that we see is what's in the art card, the Forge, that's sort of helping us build off of this difficult situation. So let's just go through and see what's happening here. So we've got in the recent past a Three of Swords, which is trying to extract a lesson or perhaps to reflect upon a difficult emotional situation in our lives. So perhaps you've been really going through some difficult times, really trying to carry some heavy weights, and you're trying to make sense of perhaps why was this given to you? Why is this something that you have to carry? We see what's crossing us is the Five of Pentacles. So I see in the past we've been sort of reflecting upon this difficult situation that we're trying to deal with, not exactly knowing what the sort of purpose or path forward of what this is going to be. And so we're trying to make something out of it. We're trying to make an opportunity out of this difficulty, and that's what the art card to me is representing. We're reflecting with the air energy of the 3 upon the difficulties in our experiences, the 5 of Pentacles, and that process of pulling those together is allowing us to forge forward a plan of how to deal with however difficult this might be for you. I see that as being what the 3 of Pentacles or disc is representing in our future. We're trying to take these lessons from these experiences and build off of them so that we can build something perhaps happier or more productive in our future. Underneath all of this, we've got a 5 of Cups, which is a card, it's the disappointment card. It's a card of feeling a sense of emotional unfulfillment. We're not emotionally fulfilled. And this is the card that's representing that feeling. There's either cups that we have that are empty, or perhaps you're going into a situation and you're trying to make sense of why it's so difficult, and that's leaving you with this sense of emptiness. Not because you're lacking in something that you were wanting to move towards. I think you were engaged in whatever these difficulties were. You were brought to this of your own choice, perhaps, or maybe you went into a situation looking for how to handle this with an optimistic attitude, and as the difficulties have sort of unfolded over time, it's wearing you down, and that's why these cups are starting to empty. And so we're not empty in the sense of not finding something to look for, but we're empty in the sense of this is not continuing to help us feel fulfilled, right? We're working through something difficult. We're working through something that is challenging, and it's helping you grow. These are difficulties that are allowing you to learn things about yourself and the world, but you're feeling a frustration that this isn't going anywhere. That, yeah, great, I'm learning, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better at this, but like, where does this go? Like, am I going to keep doing this forever? And so the pain and the difficulty that you're experiencing, you're trying to make some sense of, like, where does this progress? What are we building with our Three of Pentacles in the future off of these difficulties? Are we building a better path forward, or are we just going to stay stuck in this routine? You don't want to stay stuck in this routine. So you're willing to go through the long haul of getting through this difficult period, but there's got to be a goal at the end of like a light at the end of the tunnel that you're looking for. And that's what the moon is representing. It is that light at the end of the tunnel. You're in this dark period where you're just putting the time in to get things done. You're dealing with difficulties as they arise. You're not feeling like you're making progress. I almost feel like there should be a Seven of Pentacles out here, but there is not. But that's kind of collectively the vibe I'm getting from all of these cards. We're feeling this emotional emptiness from putting all of this energy. It's like we're putting our emotional self into this activity, but it's not paying off. So we're trying to make some sense of it. But the thing is, the reason there's not a Seven of Pentacles here is because we are building, we are growing, and we are seeing that growth, but it's not necessarily in a way that is necessarily feeling satisfying to you. All right, if we had a Seven of Pentacles here, we would be looking at the task and feeling like we're doing all of this work and not getting anywhere. And we do feel like we're getting somewhere, or you feel like you're probably... From these cards, the energy I'm getting from you, this is your message, is that you do feel like you're getting somewhere, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. It's like you're making slow progress and you're moving up that hill, but it's like, how long is this going to take? You do see that light at the end of this. You see the moon. You're in a dark, difficult period, but you do see something you're moving towards, but it's not clear how much longer this is going to take. So you do know that you're going to get out of this, but it's just like, for how long? And I think you're really starting to question, like, is it worth putting in that time? You know, are we going to be able to move this speed for long enough and be able to actually accomplish what we're trying to accomplish? And so maybe that's why the Hierophant is here. The Hierophant is perhaps your sense of duty, your sense of doing what you need to do for society or your family or your friends or your work associates. It's you stepping up to the plate and saying that we got to get this done. We know this has to be done. This is not a question of whether this will be fruitful. It's just someone's got to pick up the task of actually running this thing, and I think that's you as the Hierophant here. So as you're trying to make this progress forward, you're having to step into this role of doing all of this, you know, for what you think or understand to be the greater good. Okay? And so we're building a foundation, right? That's what this Four of Pentacles is. We're trying to take this difficult situation and we're trying to protect ourselves from all the hardships that are surrounding us. Again, we are always expanding from this. There's nothing in this that says, I kind of hinted at this before, but nothing in this now feels to me like we're just spinning in a circle. We're always taking steps forward. We're building a structure. We're building something for the future. We're just perhaps losing sight of the passion that we needed to get this task accomplished, right? So it's not that we're not seeing the fruits of our labors. We're just struggling to have the full energy to be able to get to the other side of this project. That's why I think there's a lack of fire here, is that drive to keep pushing forward is starting to burn out. You know, we're starting, it's the coals are smoldering, but we don't have the fire inside of us that's helping us get through this. So we're making steps forward, but we're running out of gas. Is another way to think about it. Okay, and that's we need some emotional energy to really help fuel this back up. We're dealing with the hardships, we're growing from the difficulties that life's presenting from us, but we're not feeling the sense of passion, and that passion, I think, would come from a little bit of emotional fulfillment from these things, right? So the art card, if you see on the picture itself, right, there's a mix of fire and water, and that's kind of what's really missing here, is we have a little bit of water, but it's emptying, and we have no fire. So we're trying to build off of our difficulties, and we are succeeding in that, but it's not getting us excited. It's not getting us passionate about getting the project done. And if that's the case, again, it's not a Seven of Pentacles, is this worth it? It's more of a, am I going to be able to get this done and get to the other side before I burn out? Is the energy that this is giving me. Okay? And so we're trying to like perhaps intellectualize this difficulty and just say, okay, well, this is what I have to do. This is the opportunity that was presented to me, and I got to get this task done. It may hurt, but I know in my mind that that's the right thing to do. And so we're building this foundation upon this idea of duty rather than excitement, and that's what is going to make this difficult. So that's why I think the challenge here is the Princess of Cups. Two things we really need here is we need to get passionate, but I think that passion is going to come from tapping back into what really made you emotionally resonate with whatever this task is that you're trying to get done. So you need that Princess of Cups energy. You need that bearer of that water energy to tap back into that emotional coolness of what made you feel really sort of, good about what you're doing. And I suspect that once you tap into that, it's going to help you better navigate towards the passion and excitement that you needed in order to get these things accomplished. Because in the outcome there, we have change, it's expansion, and notice there's a duality there. And I think that duality is the fire and water that we're really lacking in this reading. So we've got the earth, right? We've got the earth energy. That's the Two of Pentacles there. But what we really need that to expand by taking that earth, and some of it needs to be fiery excitement, and some of it needs to be calm, cool, emotional comfort. And if we can get those two things and combine them with the earth energy, the sense of duty, the structure that we have to get done, that's going to reignite this excitement for what you're doing and give you the energy, right? You need the excitement, the passion, you need the emotional fulfillment, and if you put those into your work, then you're going to produce better results. You're going to feel better about what you're doing, and that energy that you feel like you're lacking, you're going to get back. So perhaps the sort of overall message of what we should take away from this is that we are rationalizing why we're going through this difficult time, and that's not a bad thing to do, but perhaps we need a little bit more focus on what it is we should be trying to rationalize about if we're going to expand and build something bigger out of this and really take it to the final conclusion that it needs to get to. The change that we need is not just picking at old wounds and just looking at this directly and saying, okay, this hurts, but I got to do it because it's what I'm supposed to do. No, what we need to think about is not why do you have to do this because it's your duty, but why are you doing this because it's something that excites you. Really reflect upon the things that have sparked your inspiration for starting this in the first place. Maybe look back to why you got into this in the first place. I mean, was this something that people just dropped in your lap and you had to deal with? Or was this a path that you followed because it was something that was important to you? And hopefully it's the latter. If it's not, then perhaps it's a situation that maybe you should let go of. Not because it won't be successful, but perhaps it really isn't serving you. I think if you tap into your experience of why you started whatever this is in the first place, that's going to help remind you of why it got you excited, why it was something that was fulfilling, and that's going to be what's going to give you that little burst to get back on track and start having that energy to be able to do this in the way you want to. Okay? So, right, we need to navigate this dark moon space. Listen to that inner voice inside of us that explained to us why this was something to even move towards in the first place. Get back in touch with your emotions, your passions. We've got plenty of energy of, I need to do this is the duty, but we need to get back in touch with the emotional side of what motivated this in the first place. And I think that'll lead you to a more constructive path forward. So, and what you don't see coming is the Devil, which seems like it might be a bad card, but I think that's getting back in touch with the passionate side of Earth energy. I mean, this is a Capricorn reading. That's the Capricorn card. We don't want to just be doing this because the Hierophant energy of this is what I'm supposed to do. We want to do this because it's what I want to do. And if you're really working on something and you're not clear on why you want to do it, that's what you need to tap into, and that's going to get some of that fire back in you. But again, always temper that fire with a little bit of that emotional side as well. You know, make sure you're paying attention to why something makes you feel fulfilled rather than just doing it because it's a thing I'm supposed to have to do, you know. And I think that's what the devil is trying to say here, is that you need to do this because it's what you want, not because it's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so and you got to be careful. That is a negative energy. If you take it too far, you can get to a point where you're just doing whatever you want because it's like, oh, this is just what I want to do. No, I mean, don't lose track of the connection with other people and the duty that you're trying to accomplish. You're working with other people, but you're not going to be able to complete the task if you don't tap into your own passions. You're just going to be left in this space of disappointment if you don't. So, okay, I hope that resonated with you in some way. Again, very vague on what the situation is, but again, I feel like this is just trying to get back in touch with the excitement of what really got us going. So, which has been a common theme for some readings lately. So maybe people are just kind of feeling burned out before the holidays, you know, or whenever you're watching this, maybe you're just in a place where you're feeling a little drained and you need something to kind of kick you back into excitement. I think a lot of people need that right now. So let's see what the Shadow deck has for us. All right, so let's see what's going on in your subconscious. I'm going to pull 3 cards from here. Okay, so we have a 9 of Cups. Oh yeah, there's the water energy. Justice and the 2 of Spheres again. So the change that you were looking for within your mind, the thing you're trying to move towards to get you back on track and getting excited about what you need to do, is you need to find what makes you happy. Find that 9 of Cups. Get in touch with what excites you. And that's the Justice is all about balancing and getting back in alignment. So I think you're working so hard just to get the job done, and that's great, but like, put your happiness into it. Make sure you're framing it from a point of view where you're understanding why you're putting all of that work in. If it's not making you happy, then you shouldn't be bothering with it. Even if you can get it done, if it's not going to take you to a happier place, then you need to either change your methods or move on to a different situation. Okay, so that's the balancing that needs to occur here. We're trying to build art, right? In the center moment, we're trying to grow from our difficulties. We're trying to expand from our life lessons. But that is only going to truly be a fulfilling process if there's a mix of fire and water in there. We don't have that right now. We have lots of earth for days, tons of earth, right? So we need to navigate around in our emotional moon space, get back in touch with what makes us happy, get some of that balance back in. And the other meaning that the 2 of Spheres or discs or pentacles has is a bit of a juggling, right? We're trying to juggle all of this different stuff, and you might feel that in your mind is trying to juggle all the tasks in front of you, trying to just get them done in a time-oriented fashion. But I think another way to look at this is the juggling act that you really should be thinking about is your emotions and your feelings and your passions and your excitement. And, you know, what needs to get done will get done when it needs to get done. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're checking in on your emotions and your passions, and you're moving towards things that make you happy and excited about being alive. Otherwise, you're just going to burn out. You can do all the work in the world. You can put your time in to do the duties that you've been assigned, but you're eventually going to burn out if you don't get back in touch with that excitement. Okay, so what we don't see coming from the Shadow deck is the Page of Cups, which is the Princess of Cups. Yes, you need more emotional resonance in your life. You need joy. You need to feel fulfilled by what you're doing. Underneath all of this, you're learning great work. You're doing great work, right? As I said, we have the Art card. We're overcoming our physical challenges, the 5 of Pentacles energy. We're building upon it. We're learning lessons, and we're expanding with the 3 of Pentacles. But underneath all of it, we're feeling empty inside, and we got to get back in touch with that. In fact, look, the other card that was right underneath this is the Star, Remember why you did what you were doing. Remember why you got involved. Reconnect with that energy, and it's going to help fuel you, and you're going to feel more invigorated and happier and ready to move on to better things. So, but yeah, okay, so that's all I have for you today. As always, if you are getting different messages from this, use your intuition to pull from the cards, the meanings, as they need to resonate with you. So whatever messages you need to receive, let those come through as they need to. I'm just here to help guide you through my interpretations of these cards, but it's really a collaborative process, whenever you're doing a reading in person or on the internet. So, put yourself into these messages, see how they resonate with you, let go of the things that don't. But if there are messages that really do click with you, think about those and take those with you as you try to navigate whatever you have in your life going forward, whatever's being presented to you. Use this as a reflection, as a meditation, more than anything else. So, all right, that is all I have for you today. I hope that was helpful, or at the very least enjoyable. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or feedback or things you'd like to share, please leave a comment down below. I try to respond to all of you as best I can. And if you know anyone else who would enjoy this or any of my other videos, please share them as you see fit. But that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, Capricorn.